This is the ALPS Mountaineering Lynx one-person tent, and first, in the box, you get all this stuff. Here's the carry bag, the tent body, the rainfly, and 2 smaller carry bags. Let's see what's inside. So we have the poles, the stakes, the guidelines, and some repair patches, and that basically rounds up everything you'll get in the box. Now to set this up, first unfold the tent body on the ground, like so. Here's what it looks like up close, and here's what each of the 4 webbings at the 4 corners looks like. For an easier setup, I'd recommend grabbing 4 of the provided stakes first, and then staking down the 4 corners lightly, like what I'm doing here, and you can use each of the webbing loops to do so. After that, grab the 2 orange poles, which look like this when you lay them out, and these are the only 2 poles for the Lynx. Put each of the 2 orange poles together and lay both of them diagonally across the tent like this, because that's how we're gonna set them up. Now go to one of the corners, grab the end of the orange pole at the corner and insert it into the grommet. You'll notice 2 grommets, so use the outer grommet first. At least that's what I usually do. You can always readjust the pole into the inner grommet later to make the fabric of the tent a little more taut if you want to. I usually don't do this. Then go to the other end of that same pole, pick the pole up, arch it, and insert the other end of that pole into the other outer grommet in the corner. The pole won't be able to stand, so gently place it on the ground. Do the same with the other orange pole by securing one end into one grommet first, then the other end into the opposite grommet exactly the same as the other pole. Surprisingly, I found that both poles weren't able to stand on their own, so I had to leave them on the ground first, and here's what they look like. The ends of all poles are secured to the 4 grommets of the tent. Now the next step is to pick both poles up, and you know where they intersect at the top? Use one hand to hold the intersection, so basically hold both poles with one hand, and then use your other hand to bend down and pick up the pole clips. I found it pretty intuitive to secure the clips onto the poles, and once you've got a couple of clips onto each pole, they should be able to stand on their own, so you can let go of the poles with your other hand. Then go ahead and finish up the rest of the clips. Here's what the Lynx will look like when you're done with the pole clips. There are 3 pole clips to be secured to each side of each pole, so altogether there will be 3 times 4, 12 pole clips. Well, actually 13, because there's this big pole clip right at the very top of the tent, which is to be clipped onto the intersection of the 2 orange poles. I usually do this pole clip last, after I'm done with the 12 smaller pole clips. After that, make sure the door is all zipped up, and here you can also restake the 4 corners of the tent if you need to. Now we got to set the rainfly up in case it rains, so grab it and drape it over the tent. This is a really old Lynx tent, so please ignore the horrible condition of the fly and also the 2 broken peek-out windows. I know, it's really bad. But anyway, to check that the rainfly has been put on correctly, just make sure that the vestibule zip is right in front over the door. Now before securing the rainfly, just pull it up slightly, like so, and secure the Velcro strips on the underneath of the rainfly to the orange poles, like this. There are 4 of these Velcro strips, basically 2 for each pole. Then fasten the 4 buckles of the rainfly to the buckles at the 4 corners of the tent, and this is what each buckle looks like up close. Now tighten all 4 buckles until the rainfly becomes more taut, and you can do so by just pulling and adjusting the buckle strap. After that, make sure that the vestibule has been zipped up, and grab another stake to stake the vestibule down. Then look for these orange guy-out points with black webbing on the outside of the rainfly, and these are for attaching the provided guidelines. I usually use just a simple hitch to attach the guidelines, and there are 4 guidelines that you gotta attach to the tent. I mean, you don't have to if you don't need to, but I would recommend guying out the tent if you expect moderate to strong winds. Then go to the back of the tent and pull the rainfly away from the tent body. I tried to stake it down just like this, but I think the stake loop's way too short and it looks horrible. So I recommend buying an extra guy line or just grabbing one you have at home, securing that to the stake loop at the back, and then guying that out as well. So 5 guy lines in total. And open up the 2 rainfly vents at the very top of the tent. Altogether, if everything goes well without any mistakes, it'll take me just 4.5 to 5 minutes to set up this one-person Lynx on my own, and here's a full time lapse of it. I also usually leave the guidelines attached to save some time, so if you take them out and tie them back on, it'll take you a little bit longer. If you'd like to see a full review of the one-person Lynx, check out this video on the screen here. Please help me smash that like button if this has been helpful. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.